Farmer. Salah. Oh, wow. Oh. Huge shot. It's given straight away. Yet again fails.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Dugout Podcast. I am your co-host Andrew and I'm joined by my fellow co-host Marissa. Welcome to 2026. Happy New Year to all viewers. Our first show of the year.
Woohoo.
On tonight's agenda, we have quite a feast. So much so that Marissa messaged me Sunday and was like, Andrew, we got to do a show in the studio
Wasn't
this
it
week.
Monday? It was Monday.
Whatever day it was, man. You know, when you're on vacation mode, you don't normally keep track of days. Well, I gotta change that now. But the point is, Marissa messaged me and said, send a voice note. Emphatically, we have to be back in studio this week once Shaq available. And here we are. So the agenda for this week, we're gonna start with some Chelsea. Maresca and Chelsea part ways. Marissa has asked the question, will any top manager work in or be successful in the current structure? By now we know who the new manager is. Next topic, we have Amorim sacked. Deserve it or not? Supported enough? That's the question. And then we have Leaderboard Prediction, a little bit of a catch up. She might not be too happy about that part. And then lastly, we finish it up with some cricket. Australia, by this point, have won the Ashes. Is Bazball dead? So, Marissa, let's start with some football. Let's start at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea, Maresca, parting with your thoughts. The floor is yours, rant.
I ranted.
Okay.
I don't think I've been this disappointed since Tuchel got sacked, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think that results have been disappointing, but as I told you, I felt like being at the Club World Cup was going to have its price. We didn't have the preseason other teams had, especially since we went all the way. Injuries were always going to catch up. I felt like I knew that we were going to struggle. I was more expecting at the beginning of the season, but I knew a struggle was coming. And Chelsea always has the December blues. We always suck in December. It's nothing new there. But then when you saw the reports coming out, because remember after the Everton win, he made the comments about his worst 48 hours. Mm-hmm. And then from then, everything went downhill. You heard the media reports coming out, the hierarchy confused, Maresca doesn't feel supported enough, and ultimately you felt it was coming. I remember yours was quite busy because I had to work and do other things. But then when I finally got time to settle in and go through Twitter and stuff, the way things were being said, I knew it was going to be over. But I just did not expect it on the first day of the year. Like, who does that? Who does that? Who sacks a man on the first day of the year?
Well, somebody with compassion. Because what you did right was that you assured the man spending holidays with a job.
Right.
And then you let go.
Right. But it's just a shambles, and I'm embarrassed, to be honest. And I have no ill will towards Maresca. He's not perfect. He definitely made mistakes. To me, he's decent tactically, but sometimes he does some strange things. But my issue is with the hierarchy. Mm-hmm. The whole micromanaging thing, the whole telling him what to do thing, you have to give, whether it's a manager or a head coach, and we can probably delve into those terminologies a bit more when we talk about Amorim.
You're right.
But whether it's a manager or a head coach, you've hired this guy to coach the team, to get the best of the team. Let him do what he has to do. I think he has had enough credit in the bank. We got a top 4 finish, we won the Conference League, we won the Club World Cup, to give him what he wants, or at least give him a little bit more autonomy. And people will argue, he knew what he was getting into. And yes, he probably did. But I'm sure he probably thought to himself, but hey, I think I earned a little more support publicly. I think I earned a little more support in terms of what I actually want. Because this high turnover of players, like, you sell Madueke but bring in Garnacho and Gittins. Come on. There's no needle moving there. So it's like a constant reset every single summer, a constant reset. So it's like you have a manager who's clearly ambitious enough that wants to take us to the top, but yet you have people above that micromanaging, that doing this whole youth project thing. Sure, youth, you see a lot of clubs doing it on a smaller scale, to be honest. I think even you signed some teenager this week, or in talks to sign some teenager this week. Same here with Spurs. Arsenal signed some twins the other day. It's the way forward, but it has to come with a balance. We currently don't have a balance. I think we have dropped the most points from winning positions in the Premier League this season, because we struggle when the pressure's on. We struggle in games to, I guess, kind of manage things a bit better. Maresca himself has struggled. He himself has owned it. But one thing I loved about Maresca is that whenever he knew he did something wrong, he would take accountability. Wrong substitution, mistake here, mistake there. You never hear anything from the people above him. I know a lot of people like to call Bowley, but Bowley owns 40% of the club. It's Egbali and Clearly that owns, I believe, it's 60%. So they call most of the shots. And to me, him in combination with the sporting directors, they need to change the strategy. It's not going to change, because when I messaged you, as I said, I already knew who next manager was going to be. The guy from Strasbourg, and here we are. Nothing against him, but in 12 to 18 months, we're going to be here again. With the manager having the same complaints as Poch did, as Lampard did when he was interim. You can't keep falling out with managers, and that's why I asked the question, what top manager is going to take this job and actually be successful? The answer is none, because no top manager wants to be told, yeah, you gotta play this player because, you know, we talked to the agent and promised you certain things, or we got make sure he got a good resale value. No top manager wants to constantly rotate when he's trying to push for titles and trophies. No top manager wants to do that. All top managers want to have some level of control, and all managers want to have some semblance of control, but the top ones, they're not going to put up with this. So it just feels like another reset. I remember, I think I told you at the beginning of this season, I think this is the first time we actually going into a season with the manager we had the season before. Like, Chelsea needs stability, but that stability just seemed non-existent.
Fair enough. That wasn't a rant.
That was a composed articulation of my thoughts.
Fair enough. All right, well, like you said, things really started to heat up after which game it was? Everton game. But even after the Everton game, I didn't really follow him that much. So I'm looking at the game that was a bit more recent, where he was in stance. The one that was Villa. When y'all lost to Villa, right? When he was in stand, I think he was on a band.
I think that was Everton. I think he was in stance for Everton.
He was in stand for
whatever game he was in stance for, we won. I don't think we lost.
No, I thought about last month. They come into work Christmas or just after Christmas.
He was in Dugout for Villa, I think.
Villa. I don't think so. I think he was on some sort of touchline ban.
Maybe, probably second for your season.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think so, you're right. Correct. Because I didn't watch the entire game, but I saw the second half. So I would have watched the last 10 minutes, and I saw Ollie Watkins bag the winner from a set piece. Right, and I think from that game, that's when I became aware that there was kind of like rumblings and discontent. Because, I mean, there's been speculation recently about Pep and whether or not Pep is going to stay on or extend his contract. You start hearing that City were in, kind of like, just playing some feelers out to Maresca's camp about his interests and stuff like that. But that's kind of normal, because when there's going to be a replacement of a manager at any club, or most big clubs, you then, you start hearing rumblings about who's going to be linked with the job, so to speak. So I didn't really read much into that. But it was something that took place. I think after the Villa game, it was some where he let him do the interview. Because I don't think he did a post-match.
No, it was Bournemouth he neglected to do the interview.
Right. Where he did do the post-match interview. Thank you for correcting me.
Talking about he was sick.
Correct. And then you really started to hear rumblings about, the relationship has broken down, it's tense, blah, blah. And then it seemed like everything just kind of like unraveled in a mere matter of 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, it was basically a 2-week downhill thing.
And he was gone.
Yeah.
I agree with almost all your points in terms of like Chelsea needs stability. Any top club or successful team will need stability. Like you said, I think all clubs are trying to like integrate the model of try to buy young and then sell them on at a profit, for example. But something that you said that was very, very accurate. There's a high turnover of players at Chelsea, and oftentimes you're investing in youth, but to me you're selling the youth way before their expiration date, so to speak. So you're not really, you're making make a little profit in case somebody wake it, but it's like you didn't give yourself enough time with that nucleus of players to get success in terms of trophies and stuff like that, to then move them on.
Right.
So I know like what's the real plan, because like you said, it's like you sell a person that's at a certain level and you buy somebody that's kind of like in the same bracket, so it doesn't really move the needle. So then the team doesn't really move forward in that respect. So that is going to call into question the club's ambition or goals when it comes to like long-term success, or what they're really aiming for. Is Chelsea a club that is now about making money, or is Chelsea still a team that is looking to challenge for important titles on the pitch? I know you all want the Club World Cup, but at the cost that you said, and you all want the Conference League. But again, the Conference League isn't really the level of trophy that you associate with Chelsea. So that's not going to satisfy the fan base. I always felt like the issue with the fan base, or not really an issue, but the thing that will annoy most people in Chelsea's fan base to me is that they still want their club and they still see their club as very much at the top table of football, and the way in which it's being run doesn't necessarily, mesh with what we know Chelsea to be under Abramovich.
Not only that, not to interrupt, but it's also what they say too. They say all of those things that make us still believe that our club is up there as well. They do all the interviews and talk about, we want to be challenging, we want to be winning titles. So they're also feeding it as well.
Right, and that's where it's coming to, because for me, I think that's where I kind of like understand or empathize with Maresca a little bit, where he says, well, I would like a bit more protection from the hierarchy, because if we run the club in such a way where, like you said, it's not, you take 2 steps forward and then you kind of go back, then where you're selling the narrative that our expectation or what our targets for the season are at some way. Even if we, have those targets as a group in closed doors in terms of the squad, I guess you want a bit more like, limitation on what the fans can expect, and it's kind of like it will kind of like stave off in media too, in terms, because obviously what the media looks at more than anything else is the money that you spent in someone, where you were, blah blah. The media doesn't necessarily take everything into account most of the time. So I get that. To answer the question really quickly though, is any top manager going to be able to? I mean, again, it all depends on the structure. Based on what you said, it doesn't seem as though you agree with the structure. It doesn't seem as if the structure is well thought out for what Chelsea is supposed to be, or suggesting that they want to be. So then maybe structure and how the club is being operated and managed needs mitigating a little bit, needs adjusting. I also agree, you can't necessarily hire a manager and put him in a vacuum and tell him, I will micromanage every single aspect of it. The manager needs to be in charge of the team. You can't have you can't have it both ways. You can't have a team and say, well, we want to win now, but still tell the manager you got to rotate and give other players playing time to push them and development and stuff like that. Exactly. No, it's not going to work. Either we focus on developing the players and forget about winning, or we focus on winning. So if I hit a 15, 16 squad or 12 to 13 players that I playing consistently, for example, unless I decide that I rest them for fatigue reasons or what's not, it's my call. Yeah. I think it also goes back to, in terms of the next manager coming in, how much say is he going to have in transfers, how much saying is he having player outgoings. It seems as if there's a person at Chelsea for every hat and every role, and the manager's job is almost being reduced in Chelsea's respect to just coach. Yeah, pretty much. And I think the problem is that when you get managers, and it's a big club, Chelsea is going to attract, in theory, a big manager. Big managers, they kind of understand now that you can't have total control of everything, but they do want a substantial say. Yeah. Or at least they want to be part of the final say, or at least have an understanding as though, in certain respects, my say is what will go here. In terms of Liam Rosiner, whoever the name is, I mean no disrespect with that in terms of pronunciation, but in terms of him and whether or not he will succeed, I saw that he did good things with Strasbourg, but I think his biggest challenge going into the job will be almost similar to Graham Potter. in the sense that big clubs need big managers. Big players need big managers. Chelsea do still have some big players in the dressing room. Cole Palmer, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Rich James. You need to get them on side early o'clock. Or, it'd be kind of dicey.
Yeah.
Because again, like you said, I remember you said that Maresca was like one of the first managers since the new regime that you can identify with.
Yeah.
And I think disappointment is not one that Chelsea fan base is going to be overly excited about.
Yeah, because a lot of them are not pleased that Marissa has been out. Yeah.
So like, in order for that connection, they're going to support the team, but in order for that connection and harmony to come, it can be a case where again, there's like the players are saying about him, we're too sure about you, or the fan base feel as though his tactics ain't necessarily what we want, so to speak. And then again, Chelsea still got the backdrop of players that what's called the bomb squad. Is that what you call it? Right, that's still at the club. So a lot of things to resolve.
Yeah. The only thing he has going for him is that he know how this hierarchy works. So he's not gonna be. He ain't shot. He won't be shot.
Strasbourg and Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly. So he would have probably faced the same things already. So he already know what he's coming into.
In a sense, but then no. And I will end with this because you got to remember that the demands that he would be under at Strasbourg would be very different to Chelsea. True. So I feel as though you might be able to tolerate that at Strasbourg because Strasbourg definitely got to be about development of players. Chelsea know, in terms of what is expected historically, could be a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, true. Well, that kind of brings us to Manchester United because I felt, to be honest, ever since Ineos came in, they've been pretty much copying a lot of what Chelsea have done in terms of their transfer strategy is also similar in terms of they are targeting, at least now under their new structure, they're targeting younger persons, younger players and stuff like that. And here we go. Well, from all reports, Maresca and Chelsea was a mutual parting ways. He invited the 14 million compensation. He was that fed up.
Right.
But from reports, Amorim was sacked.
Yes.
I went first last night, so you tell me your view about this whole situation. Do you think that it was deserved? Do you think that he wasn't supported enough, or do you think a bit of both?
I think it was deserved. I can't say that he was not supported enough. I think that at the end of the day, he just kind of like made a run for his own back, so to speak. That's my theory of it. With his comments and things that he come out and say, his determination or reluctant stubbornness to adapt, to change, it's going to be a pile on. Was he back enough to give him time? Did results improve? Did performances improve? No. Actually, right? And there were certain things that he did, or as a club did that I kind of liked, because I do like the Matheus Cunha signing. I did like the Brian Mbeumo signing. I thought those were positive signings in the right direction. But ultimately, tactically, in the Premier League, he seems to be a bit inept. Seems to be a bit naive. You never notice that he makes the same substitutions every game?
Pretty much.
And it comes down to my issues. Almost like he reminds me of Postecoglou to a certain degree. I thought.
In terms of his stubbornness.
Yes, because it was pretty clear. I still know, because although they added goals to the team, I still feel as though they don't have the best in class in certain areas based on that system that they want to play. There have been questions all season long about Bruno and Casemiro in midfield as a pair. Remember I said that I didn't have a problem with it, but what you have to do is you might have to manage your games. In terms of at home where you're going to see mostly ball, play them. Away from home you might want to do something different, give yourself a bit more energy and legs in midfield. I don't understand why Kobe Mainoo couldn't seem to get a game, because he's a player who offers more industry in midfield. So
not even only game, but even in terms of substitutions, like
that too.
Minutes, period.
Correct.
Yeah.
Who signed you, Gert? Ten Hag? I think so. I think Ten Hag would have signed him in summer. Yeah. So alright, cool. Fair enough. So you can't blame him for the Ugart one, because obviously it doesn't seem that Ugart for the style that he wants or whatever. Ugart seems to have limitations on the ball, right? We know that the Man U squad is poorly balanced and has been poorly balanced for a long time, but Amorim seems to be extremely stubborn in the sense that he almost feels as if he said to himself, if I change my strategy or adapt my system in any shape or form, it seems as if I'm catering to media or catering to players and their demands. And I don't necessarily think so. I think that you gotta play the football that the players that you have allow you to play, so to speak. So if you don't have the personnel for that system or that style, make an adaptation. Because and the thing is that I like some of these signings because the signings that they made, especially in the forward areas, Cunha and Abemo will always give you goals.
Yeah.
And once you can score goals, you have a chance. So that's why they're in sixth position because they've scored more goals, right? The problem that they have is really the midfield in terms of not being so easy to play through. Although they've been certain games where they have been a bit more compact, and the problem against defensive issues because some of their centre backs, Lenny Loro, who's still young, learning the game, for instance, they late at times, have still been making individual errors, right? And costing goals, for example. And that's basically it. I think because of the style of the game and the way in which he scores constructed as well, I think that they struggle to control games for 90 minutes. So even if they give it even if they give a good 50, they still got a 30 or 40 in there that it can be, where they're gonna lose control, right? Again, when I say tactically inept, if a team adjusts to what they do, sometimes he doesn't really have an answer.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think those are things that he has to look at himself squarely in the mirror. And again, right for your own back, your comments. What do you mean that you get hired to be the manager, not the coach? Why this even a question? Why we even talking about this?
He was lame because I know when he got sacked, they referred to him as the head coach.
Yes, when he get hired, they refer to him as the head coach too.
Yeah.
Most clubs now refer to the personnel, the person in charge, as the head coach. It's not really a manager anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that the roles are kind of like intertwined in a sense. There is a slight difference, but to me, it's like
you're managing a team.
Correct, exactly. You're kind of like mixing both. Kind of, they kind of overlap in a sense.
Yeah, I
in certain respects, certain duties.
I think for me, I agree. It's 100% deserved. Like you can't have
one more thing before you go, and I didn't like the fact that his comments after games were very, very like almost too negative. Yeah,
and people wanted to coach it as it's so refreshing that he's honest, but I think that he was angling for this for a while, to be honest. Like even since the Europa League final.
Kind of like almost, and the closest I can compare it to is almost Conte at Tottenham. Really, almost like stop me now.
Yeah, like literally begging.
I only hear for certain, and they almost resign. Like you were talking about. I mean, in football, you never know. But even the comment he made where he said, I was hired to be the manager, not the coach, and I only here for 18 months, and the next guy will come. But still, I will not quit. You sound it's like you are sure which direction you want to go in.
Yeah.
But furthers.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was 100% deserved. Their record under him was woeful. I think they had a less than 40% win rate overall, 30-something%. That's poor. I think they lost more games than they won, and obviously they drew a lot as well. So it was 100% deserved. One thing I would say, I agree with everything you say. One thing I would say though, I would love to know how that first meeting went with them, because you know what style of football he played when you hired him. Was the conversation, okay, we know what you need to make this system work, but you can need to bear with us because we don't have the money or whatever to invest heavily initially. So do what you can with the squad. Or was it, oh, Ruben, we can support you 100%. We can get you players, we can get everything you need, which they haven't, in my opinion. So my thing is that, was he asked to adapt from the very beginning, or was he told to do as he wished? Right. Because it just feels like, I know some stuff has come up now that they said that they hope that he would have been a little bit more adaptable. Because I 100% agree. I think there was a game recently they played for at the back as well.
It's Newcastle.
Right.
Men they won.
Yeah.
They didn't deserve to win.
They deserve to win for sure.
They won.
But it's like he needed to adapt. You don't have the players to play the way you want. You do things to get results, in my personal opinion. But my question is, what conversations did they have behind the scenes? What conversations did they have behind the scenes? Because at the end of the day, you don't have the wing backs for the system. You definitely don't have the proper midfield, and the whole persisting with Bruno Fernandes in midfield, to me, and he would always plays 90 minutes. Yes. It's not like you said, don't bin it, just adapt it. Like, at home when you can have more possession, like you said, you could work with that. But it doesn't work away from home. It doesn't work against certain teams. But it's like, no matter what, Bruno was always playing in that double pivot. No matter what. So it's like, he 100% should have been more adaptable. But I also feel Man United got some serious problems above as well. Because, and this is my same problem with Chelsea. There are sporting directors who hire these people. If it goes south, it's not only on the person hired, it's the person who hired them. Simple. If I run in a company and I hire Shaq to clean the bathrooms 5 days a week, and Shaq only clean the bathroom 1 day a week, I fire Shaq. But I am above him. I should know, okay, Shaq only doing this 1 day a week. I gotta get a handle of that situation. I gotta take accountability for the fact that the bathroom is musty. I can't say, oh, it's the maid fault. No, I hired the maid. Shaq is not a maid, but you know what I'm saying. But my thing is that these people above don't take accountability. It's always the manager's head that is on the chopping block. So while I agree that Amorim sacking was deserved, I think the people above he need to hold some accountability for the appointment to begin with.
But, okay, and I agree with you as well. But what I would add to that, what I would caveat that with, is this. If you look at the people who are above or who are responsible in your group, for example, how many of them are actually football people?
That's the other thing too.
Because, I would be, I remember when Amorim was appointed, I remember you liked the appointment. And
I did, because I thought he was a good up-and-coming coach.
And I said I wasn't necessarily sold. And I think I'd never seen sport him play. It was just when I saw, I don't know, I just got a feel for it sometimes. I'm not really sure about this one. But what I would say is that, you ask questions, how tactically flexible are you, blah, blah. You have to have an idea as to, like, or you can, the style that you're playing at sporting, can you adapt it to fit the Premier League, or are you going to bring a different style to play? Because, some coaches could change styles when they change teams, all depends. Because again, the first rule of football should be, in a sense, you play the football, the players are allowed to play. But when I did some reading, some of the people that are in leadership roles that would have had a role to play in his appointment, ultimately, I think there's a guy that they got from Southampton, Brailsford, who served as sporting director or something like that, and he only had 15 months of experience at Southampton. That's not a long time. For him to then find himself in a role of such magnitude that Man United is a problem. We have to go a step further. You paid a lot of money to get Dan Ashworth over Newcastle, and then 5 months later they're gone.
Saki.
And Dan Ashworth did not fight for Amorim because he wanted to appoint somebody. I think it was Southgate. I think. Or looked that
he wasn't for the Amorim.
Correct, and they said that his appointment was not inspiring enough, being good for a new innovative coach. But what I mean, you would call questions you want, because I fail to believe that Amorim said anything different than my 3-4-3 my system. This is my preferred way of playing. This is my preferred way of playing.
True.
And this way going with it. And again, I don't want to be too harsh on Amorim at the same time, because for me, you inherited the squad. We all understand that initially he asked if he could come in the summer. They said no, he got to come now. He inherited the squad that was assembled by a different person who had it all over the place. And it's like, in your squad, so the results that you get, you kind of got a little bit of forgiveness for. But then the results were so bad that it's like, that's not Man U.
Yeah.
And as much as you knew, and this is not your squad, how much of this me attack? Now 6th place this is not bad either, right? Because I didn't have Man U in my top 4.
Definitely.
But so 6th place is what is like almost like what we expected. But at the same time, I guess it's the performances and the results against certain teams. Wolves at home who get a win, who at that stage didn't have a win for the season. Drawing to Leeds, a newly promoted side, losing to Grimsby in the Carabao Cup. So again, and then one thing I always say, every team has big players. And when you decide that that's people like Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho, not as Jadon Sancho was a big player, but expensively bought. But Marcus Rashford, for example, definitely for a long time he faced Man United in recent years. And another very, very expensive signing. Not yours, but still. There's somebody else that they got rid of too.
Garnacho.
Garnacho, correct. One of their brightest prospects to come out the academy recently. When you get rid of those players and the performances don't improve and you don't win, and you don't get the fans and the media on side necessarily, it's a problem for you.
Yeah, it's true. I agree. Well, let's see if Maresca ends up there.
Before I go on though, and this is the first, and we must mention it just for kids. Normally, right, a club is call people and tell people, or a club is be interested in the man first and call and send
How could we forget?
How could we forget
to mention
because
this?
there's a certain former manager who call he ain't people call he called people. He had no sympathy for the fact that man lost a job. He called the people and tell people, man, listen, I'm available.
Yeah, wait till your body was cool.
I want a job.
I don't care about the money. I don't care how long they want me. I just want to be there.
You think you didn't take it back?
Of course.
Because it seems as if, from what I'm reading, that they are looking to appoint somebody that they know that's familiar with the club.
Yeah, I think it's a bad idea though. You don't go back. We learned that with Lampard when you come back again.
It was fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, they only have one example of a manager who returned that I could think, well, two that were successful. One wasn't successful as long as it should have been, but the other one for sure. And that's Zidane at Real Madrid and Jose at you. I don't really think anybody that went back.
Yeah. Well, Ole at the wheel. Let me see if Man United could get dot for.
Really, Marissa?
They're just a couple points behind. You never know. Anyways, the Leaderboard prediction. You just get this segment over with because.
You're holding a booker?
Honestly, it started well.
It did.
But then just went downhill. So currently you are 54 points and I am 41. I am 13 points behind. And I need to find a way to claw this back. But it getting out of hand. The gap getting wider and wider.
Well, the gap getting wider and wider.
Yeah, so I need to claw this back. You had a few correct scores which kind of boost you, which sucked. But we'll see what happens. I don't know where you went with some of these results, but we will predict the next 3 match days, I think it is. Match day, scrolling. Match day 21, which has already started, but no games of interest for us were today. Match day 22. And match day, just 2 match days.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
today's the 6th of January,
maybe games and then weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Midweek games. No, FA Cup is this weekend.
Okay.
So midweek games and then next weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright. Starting tomorrow is Fulham at home to Chelsea. Fresh off their 1-1 draw. That was an interesting result to say the least.
You mean Chelsea?
Yeah.
Fulham fresh off a result to that I was annoyed about.
Yeah. Good there.
I can rant? No.
Okay. No. We saving Liverpool for another time.
I ain't want rant. No. I don't rant at Liverpool. It's Liverpool related, but I want rant at that equalizer. Cause I got certain business defending that these. Anyway, go on. You predict first.
Let me see. Alright, hold on. I think I may need you to call.
Yeah, I got you covered.
Yeah, you may need to call the
fixtures.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I will document if I could get this tablet to work properly.
Alright, so.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Ready?
Yeah.
Alright, so since you mentioned them first, we'll start there. Fulham at home to Chelsea.
I am going with a 2-1 Chelsea win. Only because I have no sense.
I'm going with a 1-1 draw in that game.
Alright, so 2-1 me, 1-1 Andrew.
Right. Next game on the block, we have Bournemouth at home to Spurs.
Bournemouth are winless recently, but they've been involved in a few interesting games.
Yes, a very plucky side.
I can go with this Semenyo's last game I'm hearing, so he will be making an appearance. I'm going with a 2-1 Bournemouth win.
I'll follow suit. I think that'll be 2-1 to Bournemouth as well.
Okay.
All right. Next game on the block, we have Burnley at home. Sorry, but I mentioned already. Burnley at home to United.
Okay. You go.
I'm gonna go for a 2-1 United.
Ole game back. You will know just Fletcher.
Just Fletcher and Evans.
Okay. I go in 1-1 draw.
All right. Next we have City at home to Brighton.
City can't forget he, man. City got some defensive issues. I think Diaz injured too.
Hamstring. 6 weeks.
Yeah, then definitely need to get him right. They're at home to Brighton.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I still expecting to win this. I'll go with 3-1.
All right, I'm gonna go with. I'll also go 3-1. I think that'll be a City victory.
Okay.
And that should close us out for
Arsenal.
Wednesday. So the game on Thursday now is Arsenal Liverpool. One game on Thursday. I won't go first.
No problem.
All right, so this could be anything, but what I think it will be is that I think it will be an Arsenal victory, and I'm going to predict Arsenal winning this game 3-1. Liverpool, no, seriously, right? Liverpool are trash these days. Let's face it. They don't know they're scoring, right? They don't give up many chances necessarily of late, but at the same time, the ones that do give up end up in the back of the net. And Liverpool's game management has completely gone out the window. So,
yeah, but you've never done this.
I know, but I'm being realistic. I think that I can't see Liverpool leaving the Emirates Stadium.
3-1?
3-1 or 4.
What?
I think it'd be 3 or 4.
Whoa.
In the backside.
Whoa.
Arsenal Pampalam, cameraman, take the camera again and do so and thing, and they're gonna have fun. It's what it is.
Whoa.
To think that I can still rush home Thursday and watch them, but that is beyond the point. That's besides the point.
Man, no matter if you expect your team to lose, you can still watch it.
And you should have heard me Sunday. I made church Sunday, you know. And I cursed so stink you would think it was a sailor.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously, I cursed so stink.
You mean when Enzo equalized? Oh, you mean lead? Oh, sorry, I forget.
The Fulham game. I mean Harrison Reed.
Yeah.
I cursed so stink.
Yeah.
And then you know who called me?
Why he calling you when City and Chelsea out of play?
He called me right before though, but he had to get it in.
Okay.
Look.
Not me. I ain't got the guts to go out corner, but I gloat him when they fully expect him my team to get smashed.
It wasn't gloating. He was just like, you know, I know you thought you left with 3 points by Harrison Reed, you know, and I had to explain that he ain't Harrison Reed. It's these jokers that in our defensive setup.
Well, I am gonna go against the green. Everybody is predicting an Arsenal win, but I am going to say that Liverpool are going to have some pride. They are very close to being the worst defending champions ever.
They are?
In my book, they are.
Right.
I mean, I'm looking back when the summer transfer window.
I can't think of worse.
After spending $500 million, after spending, I ain't spend 500 million pounds of the Queen money on.
I don't care.
Isak.
Queen money.
Ekitike.
First, right, you see, you just say media. See again, the media don't give the full picture. How much money I sell? How much money I recruit?
Oh, the first person I should be talking about is me. Because everybody always talk about the money I spend, but they don't tell about the money I
attacking
back.
you, but you attacking me, but no, man. Talk about the Queen money.
Anyways, y'all are very close in my estimation to being one of the worst defensive I have seen.
No, I won't hear you, man.
But I think y'all will have some pride. I don't think y'all like the fact that Arsenal getting on if this league done. Arsenal fans, anyways.
Right.
I think y'all will have some pride. And I think the players will show up. And I think y'all will win 2-1. And Ekitike can get the winner if he play.
Well, Marissa.
Yes.
First and first, right? They gotta show up. We gotta go play. you can't play. You can't fuck them showing up. So they gotta show up. But I appreciate your optimism. I tell you no.
Highly misplaced.
Highly misplaced. Let me get beat. Let me get beat. I tell you what. The game's coming thick and fast, right? 3 days in between. That the manner, really truly, right? They probably should have. I think Fulham plays better football, anyways. But the manner of the concession to drop 2 points, right? That could demoralize them. Them can't pick them. Sorry, not them. I just said them. They can't. Arsenal can't get them guys to pick themselves up to give a rousing performance against Arsenal away from home.
We'll see.
You know what's gonna happen? Something will gonna happen during the game that's part of mental life, which I don't anticipate.
We'll see. 2 days from now, we'll see. Alright, what's the next?
Alright, so next, so we're skipping this weekend, next weekend, because that's the FA Cup. And then we're going to next weekend. So, 17th of January. All right, so we're kicking off early o'clock that Saturday morning, the Manchester Derby. United at
Early
home to City.
kickoff? Ew.
United at home to City.
Again 2-2.
Again 2-1 City.
Wow.
Because this is very optimistic. That City can keep winning to put pressure by Arsenal. That's my
Not me
optimism.
though. I ain't optimistic at all.
My optimism ain't got nothing to do with Liverpool.
Fair enough.
Kiss my tail jokers.
Oh my gosh. Next.
Chelsea at home to Brentford.
Mourinho's first game in charge. Well, Premier League game. Brentford playing decent though, and Chelsea home form sucks. But I'm gonna go with a 2-1 Chelsea win. I know where you're gonna go though.
I think 2-1 Chelsea win as well.
Oh,
I think you'll win.
I hate typing on 2-2 because I thought it was where you was gonna go.
Next game on the block, we have Liverpool against Burnley at home.
3-1 Liverpool.
2-1. Not them to score 3. I feel after this season though. I feel something else. I feel the graveyard for this team.
Gosh. Kadir.
Alright, we have Tottenham at London Derby. We have Tottenham at home to West Ham.
Oh. Saw them lost again today. Them in trouble for sure.
They lost to first. Well, that was a big 6 pointer.
I think they scored first too.
Big 6 pointer.
Yeah, I don't usually predict Spurs wins on this show, but I am gonna go with 2-0 Spurs win.
I'll go 2-1 Spurs.
Okay.
And then late game on Saturday, we have Nottingham Forest hosting Arsenal.
Daichi man, it'd be nice if we could got sent from her, but I am going to go with 3-2 Arsenal win.
I'll go 2-1 Arsenal. Alright, and there are no games of interest to us on Sunday.
Oh yeah, that's it, yeah. Alright, so we're going to take a quick break for a word from our sponsors. Whole Health Pharmacy, located in Jordan's Complex, Speightstown, St. Peter, carries a variety of products to take care of you and your health. Essential oils, muscle rubs, and the run-of-the-mill medications. And definitely don't forget your vitamins. Vinci sea salt, air humidifiers, tumblers, and women's havens pads too. We got it all for you. Don't forget your Barbados and natural Vinci snacks. So for sure you're gonna keep coming back. Ever hear about structured water? Well, tell your son, tell your daughter. Whole Health Pharmacy. More than a pharmacy, we take care of you and your health. And we're back. Just a quickie on this. I think the last time we spoke, the last time we had a show, it was the beginning of the third test of the Ashes. Australia were already 2-0 up. And, you know, I felt like if Australia won the third test, they would win 5-0, but they didn't. They lost the fourth test. But they're currently playing. Fifth test is underway. But the main point is the Ashes are done, and Australia have not only retained, but they have won the Ashes. So my question is Bazball dead? And the reason I asked the question is, it's come under heavy criticism because you're seeing some strange batting, you're seeing some very toothless bowling, and all of this is against the backdrop of a lot of chat. I heard somebody say today, if England could play as good as they thought, we'll have a different Ashes. I couldn't help but laugh because it's true, they did do a lot of talking. So when it says Bazball dead, should McCullum be sacked? Should Stokes be sacked? Or is it just a simple matter of revamping what they do?
Yes and no. Well, it can't. Well, I know that sounds weird, but here's the thing. It all depends on how much importance or weight as an England fan or England cricket board they place on your Ashes versus something else like the T20 World Cup. If the Ashes is the end all be all, then he should be sacked. They act like it, exactly. Then he should be sacked. But if they're seeing the bigger picture and they think that that the Ashes is not the end all be all, and the end all be all is maybe winning the Test Championship or the 50 over World Cup or the T20 World Cup that starts shortly, then the answer would be no. You stay with it. I think in this case I wouldn't make a knee-jerk reaction. I would take all things into consideration. Over the last 4 years that he's been in charge at the helm, what have we done? This is a very disappointing series. This is not what we were hoping for and expecting, but has it been more good than bad? That'd be me. I'm more encouraged about the style of play, how the players taking the board, or the development of players, for example. I'm encouraged by the players that we have coming through, so to speak. Honestly, so for me, I think it needs more. I think it's more revamped than a get sacked. But who knows what England will do? What I would say is that there are more issues with how this series turned out than just the players' poor performance, because you have to look at the reasons for the players' poor performance. They were gravely underprepared. They didn't have many practice games. You know, they just rock up thinking that once we take the field, we win. And is that a basketball thing, or is that England as a wider conglomerate's attitude towards the series? Exactly. So it ain't really him. And to answer your second part of the question, should Stokes be sacked? No, I don't think Stokes should be sacked. I think Stokes is a decent captain. And I think that Stokes at this point in time, for me, is a clear leader of this team. I don't see any emerging replacements just yet. So stick with Stokes. Have a conversation with McCullum, because does he even want to continue? Was this a cycle for him? As in the Ashes would be my last series. How does he feel about it? But I don't think necessarily need to get rid of him. It's a revamp thing. What is basketball really? Basketball is an aggressive attitude or mindset towards playing cricket. But anybody with a bat and a ball will tell you that when it comes to cricket, you gotta play the context of the match, and that's what Australia. That's honestly the difference between the teams is simply Australia played the context or the circumstances of matches better than England did. I know you talk about handling pressure. England's bowling fell down in terms of handling pressure because for me they were all replaced too often in this series, right? They didn't get enough help from the fielders either because the fielders drop a lot of catches. 16. The batsmen is who more guilty the basketball only mindset where they didn't judge the conditions well enough and they play careless shots as a result. That's all it is. So it's a simple revamp. But knowing England wants somebody to blame, they're gonna got some sort of inquest. But at least in them defense, when they do inquests on late West Indies, them is actually matches and you see things happening.
Fair.
So who knows? But I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I agree with everything you say. I think that I think Australia have played basketball better than England. And the reason I say that is, if you look at the current test match that they're playing, Australia currently 532 for 7 and going at a run rate of 4.21, which is essentially what Bazball, when they're at their best, they go at 4 and 5 runs or over. But yet they're 532 runs. They made 100 for 10 for 6. They made 250 all out. Australia, granted, there are times in this series I felt Australia, to me, didn't drive home the advantage enough when they were batting. But they always had somebody to kick on. Like Travis Head is a natural attacking batsman, but he has excellent temperament. He chooses when and where. That is lacking with England. They always do the wrong things at the wrong time. And I think that it just requires a revamp. Aggression is good because it takes the pressure off of you. It puts it back on the bowlers. I thought, for instance, when they chased in the last test match, that's exactly how I expected them to go about that chase. Because you can't just, it was a tricky pitch. You can't just stand there and wait till you get a good ball. Be aggressive, soften up the ball, put pressure on Australia, and that's what they did, and that's how they won. They weren't, to me, as reckless in that innings as they have been previously. So it's just a matter of curb the arrogance, because I think that you say, we all know in English media, they always overhype their team. But I feel like this arrogance has seeped in. They also have this culture where they don't like negativity. They're always defending each other. Like, there's nothing wrong. I hope it's different in dressing room. I hope that when somebody plays a stupid shot, there's a discussion about, but, you know, maybe that wasn't the right time. Doesn't seem that way, but hey. So it's just a matter of tempering it. It's just a matter of, they've shown glimpses throughout the series of what tempering can do. Even when they lost the third test, when how much they actually got closer than anybody expected to that total, because they played responsibly. There's nothing wrong with it's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's not weak to take a step back and absorb pressure. It's not weak to duck under a bouncer if you know you can't control the pull shot. You're just choosing. You're just having better shot selection, making better decisions. And that's my thing. Can they do that under the current regime?
Here's the thing. I agree with what you said too. But what I would say about England is that if you look at the series as a whole, if I stretch my memory back to remember, the first test was, like, remember we discussed it was kind of even until Travis Head played the blind down, took the game away from them. The test where they really played badly was the second test, not the NA test. That's where they never really were at the races, and Australia, you know,
destroyed them.
Full straight I went with. So they now put on the pressure for the third test, and with the third test is where Australia was like, all right, now we got a chance here, and they kind of drove it home. The fourth test was more the England that you expected. What I'll be critical of England, again, preparation, planning. You play a style or system for 4 years, and you come to this series and don't go off a first class spinner.
Crazy.
Even though a half decent one, because you actually, and apparently you invested in Bashir a lot, and then they played the guy onto the fourth test.
He didn't play at all.
Oh, he played at all, my bad. I thought he played fourth test, my bad. Why you thought he played fourth test?
It almost feels like they abandoned certain things that they were doing for the last 4 years.
Oh, so he didn't play at all? He played
He didn't play at all?
Oh, so he just a long trip. My bad. I thought he came into the squad the fourth test. But you know, in fairness to me, after the third test, I kind of check out too, because the series done. But I don't think I watched any of the last two tests. But yeah, like, these are things, again, planning, preparation. So I think that, like you said, check the arrogance to the side a little bit, because again, as regardless of whatever you think about Australia at home is always going to be a tough series. Australia is like what West Indies were in the 90s, in a sense where we weren't, well, this Australia still winning, but in terms of when West Indies stopped winning abundantly, they were still difficult to beat at home. Remember, West Indies stopped winning away from home a long time before they actually stopped winning at home. Because remember, in our generation where when England came here and won in 2004, I think it was the first time in estimable years. Because even though West Indies were not traveling well anymore, they were still beating people at home. And that's kind of like Australia, in a sense where, regardless of what you think the talent pool of Australia was, the aging, so to speak, cool. But they're never going to just come and lay down at home.
And they still have top players. And simple.
What you describing Australia have, that Australian pride, is what Liverpool need. Just to come back at that. So like, I help him to make your point. That's how strong the Australian pride is. You know what I mean? But yeah.
But I also think Australia were seriously underestimated as well. People looked at them, England's so young and exciting, Australia's so old and frail. No, they're not. You got world class, and to me, you know what makes England look worse? After the third test, after the fourth test that they won, there's still this narrative, if England had played better, they could have beat Australia.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Australia ain't playing the best either.
It's very efficient.
And I'm going to echo Stuart Barr's words. This is probably one of the weakest Australian sides. No Pat Cummins, no Nathan Lyon, no Hazelwood. You know how much wickets that is? You know how much wickets that is?
I was gonna add that, like, you know, I think that's why Australia, you know, will laugh at them.
Exactly, we ever play with best side.
We miss our captain, and our leading wicket taker, in Hazelwood as well.
We still thrash runner.
Yeah, and to me, and I didn't get what the hype was about watching the England bowlers in the first 2 tests, because I mean, apart from Joffre.
Yeah.
And Tong to a certain extent too.
Joffre and Tong and Stokes to a lesser degree.
Yeah, but Stokes again, like, what you said it before the series started, where you said that you didn't expect Joffre and Stokes especially Joffre to play the entire series because, you know,
injured after the 3rd test.
Correct, exactly. Like, you saw that coming through, and it's like,
and you pin all your hopes on him and Mark Wood. Mark Wood played 1 test, Joffre played 3.
You're right, yeah, because he got injured early first test. Yeah.
So I mean, it's like they overhyped themselves. I think. I don't think they had enough humility. I don't think they had enough respect for Australia, because you still gotta respect your opposition. And I think that they had a golden opportunity in this series and they squandered it. But I don't care. I hope for one coming.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so I think that's it for the show for today. It's definitely been an interesting start to the year. 6 days into the year and managers getting sat all over the place. So much things happening in the world, but we're still here.
Yeah.
We're still here. So follow us, the Dugout _podcast. Me, Marissa Simone 91.
Drew 9106.
Our sponsors, Whole Health Pharmacy, BB, I think. But Shat will pull it up for me.
Yes.
And of course, Spirit Life Studios. And of course, like, share, comment, subscribe. And continue to support us in the coming year. We're going to have some guests again soon. I'm sure y'all are tired of me and Andrew just going back and forth. But we'll have some guests again soon. But yeah, the Dugout Podcast, I think this is our 4th season. And we're going strong.
I think so.
We're going strong.
Yeah.
I think, come to think of it, in fact, no, let me not say so.
What were you going to say? I'm interested.
I was going to say, I'm thinking about when we first started. When we first started, Shat wasn't married, you wasn't married, all Towanda was living different places. It just feels like so much change has happened over it. I'm getting nostalgic.
So when you get married? You go, no, serious, but you don't but serious. You gotta bring it up and not expect a question to come. Because, right, you gotta completely set. you know, Shot, me, you.
I could close your show.
You next. So you don't
that's why I didn't want to bring it up, you know.
You're not gonna ask the question?
I was feeling nostalgic because I was thinking about how much has changed since we started this podcast. New year, thinking back to the previous years. And I know you will want to turn it into that. So that's why I didn't want to say it, but here you were. But anyways, I'm done.
I'm not going to put pressure on you.
Good.
All right, so thank you for watching again, and we look forward to a wonderful, fruitful 2026.
Yes.
Look out for our next episode in about 2 or so weeks' time.
Yes. See you.